All right, so gender dysphoria is like one of those things that's very easy to like describe in like a clinical sense, but it's very hard to get people to really understand like how it feels, like when you experience gender dysphoria. Because I mean, unless you're trans, there's nothing really I can tell that's like it. So I'm gonna do the absolute best I can to explain this so that you guys can understand just how a trans person feels when they tell you that they're experiencing gender dysphoria. So for those of you that don't know, gender dysphoria is basically the discomfort or even pain that a trans person feels when they feel like that mind-body disconnect. For example, the gender I was assigned at birth being male, and since I identify as female, that there was this incongruence that made me feel extreme discomfort with my own appearance, my body, the way people addressed me, the way I dressed even, and anything else associated with like the discomfort relating to being trans. Um, and I don't use the term like feeling pain lately because when I feel dysphoria, a lot of times I feel pain. Like a lot of people will describe gender dysphoria as, just imagine yourself wearing clothes that were very uncomfortable that you were never able to take off. But like that might describe like the discomfort level of it, but it doesn't describe the part that like kind of, feels like your brain is being stabbed. So I guess for me, the first time I ever felt gender dysphoria was when I was going through puberty. I was growing this beard, and I didn't really understand what was happening to me, as well as like any of the other like changes that came with a teenage boy becoming a man. Quotes on that. And just like my body like started to feel foreign to me, and it's like I really didn't want all these masculine features, to the point that I would often cross dress, and try to make myself look more feminine in private, because at least I can feel comfortable then. But I mean, like the dysphoria would hit me like like it hits you every single moment of your life. Like when you haven't really transitioned, like the discomfort is always there. Like you could be watching a movie and then like something obvious will just trigger your dysphoria. You just always think about how you're not born right. Like you're not like the gender that you were assigned at birth is wrong. And like anything can trigger that, like someone calling you dude or sir, or on the way you're dressed, even like little shit. Like I just look at a girl, like looking at a girl in high school, it like would trigger dysphoria because I would just feel jealous. I'd always feel jealous. I feel jealous of every girl, every woman I'd see, because I'd say, I wish I was like them. And that was its own very, very distinct type of pain. Like, I just see like girls with like this very long, pretty hair, and I'm just thinking, God, I wish I could have hair like that, or I wish my body was changing like that, instead I got these big muscles. Like even I mean I know I was always like a scrawny little shit, but still like comparatively I got muscles. I got taller. I eventually grew what would be called a decent beard. Would look good on somebody else, but just not me. My develop a masculine skeletal structure that is undeniably appears male. I won't deny. Um, instead of all the other features that would make me feel more comfortable. And that's not even like talking about like the sexual aspect of having like a dick. Because like whenever I see that, I just hate it. it just reminds me of what I am. Even now, it reminds me of how I was born, and I just can't stand my extra member. That's erroneous. There's a reason why people transition. Like it might is even though it sounds like so drastic, it's because we're in so much pain all the time, and because being trans, and at the very least, if you haven't like transitioned or done something, if you're like in my situation, being trans is painful. Like going to prom, I hated prom. It was very painful to me because I see all these women, like all these girls, having time with their lives, like wearing these beautiful dresses, dancing with guys, and it just looks like they're having so much fun, and I'm stuck in this like this just disgusting, ugly suit, and that doesn't represent who I am, and it just makes me feel like shit. Um, you know, that's another thing too. Uh, and then there's the actual like, you know, like even like the act of having sex is triggering for me, because I mean, my natural feeling is that I have a vagina. I don't have a vagina, unfortunately. I have a dick. I'm a chick with a dick. It sucks. Um, like my natural instinct is to put something in my vagina that I don't have. Um, it's very frustrating, to say the least. It's like those little like children's toys, like the box with like all the shapes that you put the shape in the hole. But like for some reason, all I have is a triangle piece, and like I'm trying and there's only a circle piece right here, and I'm just like I can't fit it in there. That's kind of like what it feels like to me, is that type of endless frustration for eternity. So that sucks. Um, but I mean, that's why we transition, is because you know life like that's unbearable for the long term, and eventually you just kind of say I don't want to do this. In that instance, that's when many of us decide to transition, which I did. Still transitioning. It's almost been like 22 months or so, but dysphoria lessened considerably. Like I still feel it because I still, like as I said, I wish I was born cisgender. I don't like being transgender, and I know that like there's nothing wrong with being transgender. Like there's nothing like like I'm like an aberration or anything, but it's just it'd just be so much easier if I was born cis. Like so much easier. It's not fun. And that's also kind of why it's like when people are like, oh, someone's pretending to be transgender. Well, if they're pretending, they're gonna stop pretty fucking fast. It's fucking hard. Um, it's not easy. And so if someone was like, maybe, and then it's just like, no, 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 no. You will know. You will know. Um, it's not an easy road. Um, but it's the only option that allows me to live a somewhat authentic life. But back kind of to dysphoria at the very least. Um, the only real dysphoria I feel now is just associated with me wishing I was born cis. And it's kind of like, I'll get into like the state of mind where it's just like, that I was born like defective, and I was born with the body of a boy, but the brain of a girl. I mean, it's a bit more complicated than that, but that's kind of like what the like when you strip everything to like the bare essentials. That's kind of what it boils down to. Uh, born with the body of a boy, born with the body of a boy, and the brain of a girl. And obviously, brain is that's most important. It's what makes you who you are. So that's what determines my gender. Um, and you know, and I feel like I still feel very intense feelings of dysphoria every day, just because every now and then I'll be like, I'll remember that these feelings that I used to have and still have, just to a lesser extent now. And how it kind of feels to me is like someone's taking a crowbar to the back of my head, and trying to wedge my soul out of my body. I don't know if that makes any sense or not, but it feels like like the pain I feel is when I feel like disconnected from my body. Because it's a very painful feeling. And it's just kind of like I feel like this shivered like all through my nervous system, like all my whole body like becomes numb, but particularly my head and like my back and my spinal column, like everything goes numb. Like I feel like a shiver of like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. My birth sex is different from the gender that I identify with, and there's things I can do to accommodate that, as just living as a woman, because I am one, and living, taking hormones, getting surgeries, and things that can lessen the dysphoria. Like I imagine, like when I get a lower surgery, like all that discomfort regarding sex and just how I feel about my penis will go away, because hey, my penis is gone. So, yay! And I don't mean to like be like a downer, like, oh, my life is fucking terrible. I mean, my life was terrible, but it's like so much better now. But I wanted you guys to kind of understand kind of what it feels like. Like, it's no es bueno. It's not fun, to say the least. But, life goes on. And as I said, much happier now.